Welcome back to the Xerophobic 73 channel, and this is where we say goodbye to Sony's PS Vita. We say finally, after 7 years of what is to be considered a very tough time, Sony officially ended production of its PS Vita games console. The handheld console had been gradually phased out after the past few years, and this week Sony announced it will be discontinuing the Vita's final two models. The PS Vita struggled against rival devices as well as a surge in the popularity of mobile gaming. With no plans for a successor, games critics say that Sony's version of the successful Nintendo Switch seems unlikely. When the PS4 Vita launched back in Japan of 2011, it initially sold well. Independent research company Strategy Analysts reported that 300,000 units of the PS Vita's first week, but those figures dropped sharply. Sony estimated to have only sold 10 to 15 million units in the Vita's entire lifetime. In comparison, Nintendo Switch's console had sold more than 32 million units, only 2 years after it first went on sale. Now that the PS Vita had officially reached the end of its life cycle, I think it's time to admit that Sony's handheld console was a bit of a misstep. Technology and website reviews expert Nathan Splendow said, while the hardware initially presented a turning point for Sony, it did struggle to achieve the same level of critical acclaim as Nintendo's DS family of portable gaming systems. The years since the Vita's launch also saw an explosion in mobile gaming, with smartphones and tablets becoming powerful enough to run graphically intensive apps. Now, although the Vita rolled out with two high-profile titles such as Uncharted Golden Abyss, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, and Little Big Planet Vita, it also came to an end when Sony announced that in 2015 it would stop making its own games for the Vita, deciding to focus instead on titles for its PS4 console. In 2018, Sony said it would cease physical production of the Vita games, and in 2019 would be the final year that the device was to be manufactured. Now, it did initially find a home in indie development circles. Even though the blockbuster games had all but vanished from the console, the Vita found a niche as a home for indie developers and with Japanese gamers. Now, according to Stefan Longford, who is editor of the games website The Sixth Axis, he cites that BAFTA award-winning games Thomas Was Alone and Oli Oli were classic examples of this. They usually weren't exclusives to the Vita, but there was something about the indie games that clicked on the Vita more than it did on the PS3 and eventually the PS4. It's something we're seeing again with indies flocking in from the Nintendo Switch. But despite this niche appeal, the Vita ultimately failed to live up to Sony's expectations. It certainly comes as no surprise that the PS Vita had finally ended production, ultimately sounding the death toll of Sony's mobile gaming ambitions. While the PS Vita had been consigned to history, Sony is believed to be readying for a new games console. Last year, company president and chief executive Mr. Yoshida finally told the Financial Times that it was necessary for Sony to start work on the next generation of hardware. He declined to say whether or not this would be carrying the moniker name of PlayStation 5. So as we say goodbye to the PlayStation Vita, I say goodbye to you in the advent of a new piece of news. Take care, people. Bye bye now.